The science behind undiagnosed boys and adult relationship struggles. This isn't a personality issue, it's brain chemistry. And here's what science says actually happens to undiagnosed boys as they grow into adults. Let's talk about the brain. ADHD is driven by dopamine dysregulation. Dopamine is the chemical that supports motivation, focus, emotional regulation, and follow through. Undiagnosed boys grow up with less consistent dopamine activity, so their brains are already working harder just to stay regulated. Now add chronic stress. When boys are constantly corrected, punished, or told to control themselves, their brains release cortisol, the stress hormone. High cortisol over time changes brain development. It strengthens the threat response system and weakens the parts of the brain responsible for impulse control, emotional regulation, flexible thinking, staying present during conflict. So their nervous system learns this rule early: emotion, danger. Fast forward to adulthood. When conflict shows up in relationships, their brain doesn't hear words, it detects threat. The amygdala fires, cortisol spikes, executive function drops. That's why you see shutdown, defensiveness, anger bursts, emotional withdrawal, avoidance, difficulty communicating needs. Not because they don't care, but because the brain is in survival mode, not connection mode. Here's the key difference: this isn't manipulation, this isn't narcissism, this isn't lack of empathy. It's a nervous system trained under stress without regulation tools. And the good news: brains are plastic. With understanding, safety, and regulation skills, these patterns can change. Healing starts when we stop asking what's wrong with him and start asking what did his nervous system learn to survive. Comment science if this finally explains something you couldn't put into words.